What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman here breaking down day 2 of joint practices versus the New England Patriots. For that guy right there, J.J. McCarthy was the star today. He absolutely tore up the Patriots secondary. Red zone drills, 7-on-7, 11-on-11. That man right there lit it up. And if you guys didn't know, friend of the program, Minnesota's favorite, Diana Rossini, was at the practice facility today, and J.J. McCarthy cooking in front of her. I just thought of this meme from LeBron James, smiling through it all because I can't believe this is my life. J.J., he chose a good day to have his best day so far of training camp. So we'll dive into it all on today's show. But if you guys love yourself some J.J. McCarthy, go down there and hit that thumbs up icon. I'm going to put today's goal as over 1,000 likes. So if you guys have not already, please go down there, hit that thumbs up button. If you guys are ready to see J.J. McCarthy set the NFL world on fire this upcoming season. All right, we'll dive into McCarthy in depth here first, but some bad news. Or secondly, but some bad news first. Lucky Jackson and Jalen Naylor, at least on the red zone period, they had some of the worst drops I've ever seen, specifically Lucky Jackson. He was working out the back of the end zone. JJ threw a beautiful ball, and there was not a DB around him, and he just flatly dropped it. And same with Jalen Naylor. So still has some concerns at the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 position when Addison is suspended. But I just want to focus on the positive today, and that being number 9. He was cooking the Patriots all day at practice. We saw even the mobility on display for a couple of plays, pocket collapse, and him stepping up and him finding a hole and just escaping. And Kevin Seifert tweeting this out saying, J.J. McCarthy on a heater right now. Deep throw to Aaron Jones. Connects down right sideline after throwing 4 consecutive touchdowns in red zone drills. Now, this play Seifert's referring to, it could have been called a sack on JJ, but he stepped up into the pocket to the right side, just uncorked a football probably 55 yards down the field. And Aaron Jones, he's running full speed on a wheel route, just dropped it right in the bucket. It was probably one of the best throws we have seen from McCarthy in terms of pushing the ball downfield the entire training camp, and also considering that was coming after 4 consecutive touchdowns. But also Jason Harmon, diehard Vikings fan, does a great job on Twitter of getting the latest news out there for the Minnesota Vikings. Give him a follow if you guys haven't already, but even him tweeting that out, huge 65-yard deep ball from JJ to Aaron Jones. Maybe we'll see a lot more Jones in the passing game this year, considering Jordan Mason will get, probably by the end of the season, 60% of carries. At least that's my best guess right now. So we should see a lot more catches from Aaron Jones and him being a dynamic weapon in the passing game. But, this connection continues to build. Number 9 to number 87. I will give TJ Hawkinson credit. I called him out at the end of last season. I didn't think he looked his best. I thought a lot of those 50-50 balls that normally always went his way did not go his way the previous season. Now, he was coming off a torn ACL, didn't have the full offseason to get his body right. He was just rehabbing that knee. But him, this past offseason, he looks like he is in incredible shape. And even yesterday, he had a nasty option route against Jabril Peppers, completely shook him out of his shoes, and he had an easy completion over the middle of the field. But something that I love to see is he was mossing people during the red zone period. He had this play on the right sideline. It was just a simple fade route, and JJ delivered a beautiful football, but he rose up. It kind of reminded me of the play, if you guys remember, against the New York Giants during the regular season in 2022 when he was down the left sideline and there was 2 Giants defenders and he just skied over the top of both of them and caught that football. It was very similar to the play he had today, which I think the Vikings, who did struggle a little bit in the red zone this past season, use Hawk as more of a weapon. Whether that's him running fade routes or that's him running hitches where you can just kind of post up like he's playing basketball and you can just throw the ball just near his crazy catch radius. But it is awesome to see him playing good ball because, we talked about it on our show earlier today. Who's going to step up next to Justin Jefferson when Addison is out? And we talk about the receivers. Tai Felton, Jalen Naylor, Lucky Jackson. How about TJ Hawkinson? He should have a monster first month of the year. And also, for all you bettors out there, his over-under for touchdowns this season is 3.5. Go take that over. It should be free money. But also number 3, he continues to fry. Jordan Addison, this guy runs some of the best routes I have ever seen in the National Football League. He had a couple of routes today just completely frying these Patriots corners. And, the Patriots do have a solid secondary. I'll give them credit there. There is some talent in that room, but you're not talented enough to guard Jordan Addison. Whether that's him running those out-breaking routes, those in-breaking routes, which they were killing yesterday, it was on full display, especially during the 11-on-11 period. he was completely cooking the Patriots secondary. And the best part about all this, 18's not out there. What are you going to do when you got to go deal with Justin Jefferson? Then you also have Jordan Addison. You got TJ Hawkinson, plus this run game. And if you get a quarterback like McCarthy who goes on a heater, this offense is going to be unstoppable. And you pair all that up with Brian Flores and that defense, who also had themselves a hell of a day. And we'll talk about that on the tail half of today's show. But, man, I'm sipping the purple Kool-Aid right now. I feel drunk off the purple Kool-Aid. I'm trying to contain myself on today's show, but it's all looking good. And also, JJ, he found Aaron Jones multiple times during the red zone period. His processing was fantastic today. There's one play that I have in my head. He's looking through all of his reads. He gets to his fourth read, which is Aaron Jones in the flat, just delivers an absolute strike. And again, it's not like a wow throw where he's throwing it 40 yards down the field, but it's just a simple 5-yard throw to the flat. But Aaron Jones is running full speed, puts it on him. He doesn't have to, stop running to come back to the football, and he was able to run right into the end zone. So Aaron Jones, watch out for him in the passing game this year. PPR fantasy guys, maybe you take him midway through your draft. But even more evidence here coming in from Seifert, him saying this has been McCarthy's sharpest practice to date. This run was a part of 12 consecutive completions, including deeper throws to Jones and Jordan Addison. And, I got to ask somebody something. Colin Cowherd, are you watching this? Are you seeing what's going on? I know it's just training camp. I know it's just, meaningless football in the grand scheme of things. But you see the arm talent. You see the mobility. JJ could do anything this year. The Vikings could go win 14 games. This guy's not going to change his opinion, because then if JJ does go and do that, even puts up great stats, he's just going to say, oh, it's because they got Darrisaw, Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, yada, yada, yada. Anybody could play quarterback in that system. But more coming in here from Will Reggett saying one of JJ McCarthy's best day of camp in terms of throwing with touch. He has been on one. And, yeah, he was layering the football great today, which has definitely been his, biggest red flag in his game, because we all know he's got that fastball over the middle of the field. He's got the deep touch, but can you layer it, cover 2 hole shots? Can you just float the ball over a zone in between another? He was having those touch throws today, which is just fantastic, fantastic news. So we'll dive into the defense and a little more J.J. McCarthy talk here in a sec. But if you guys want the Vikings to win a playoff game this upcoming season, give me a SKOL down below in the comment section. We need it, man. It's been way too long. 5 years too long. Last playoff win being Kyle Rudolph push-off back in the end zone, which was a hell of a game as well. But hopefully we get one this year. If you guys want one, give me a SKOL down below. I'll get to more takeaways from day 2 of joint practices versus the Patriots here in a second. But before we do so, got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that being Factor Meals. Now, eat smart at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 off and use code VikingsChat50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code VikingsChat50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off plus free shipping. Now, here covering the Minnesota Vikings at Chat Sports, I got a pretty busy schedule, and plus with some summer plans, sometimes all I've got is a couple of minutes, and Factor helps me eat smarter with tasty, chef-prepared meals that are dietitian-approved and delivered right to my door. And now with more than 65 weekly meals made for how I live and what I like to eat, I've got even more ways to fit in a real meal wherever the day takes me. So Factor Meals, it's got more variety and more meals. Choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. Also, if you guys want to support your own wellness goals, they have even more GLP-1 friendly meals and new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good for you fat. So if you guys want to start eating smarter, head over to factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 off and use code VikingsChat50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code VikingsChat50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off plus free shipping. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Link for that in the comment section and description of today's show. Now, this was JJ's best day by far, and I'm not saying that to have everybody, pump the brakes. Maybe I'm, telling myself to pump the brakes a little bit, but this was like the peak of his training camp performances. And, what I was saying on a couple of shows previously was like, hey, guys, be prepared for JJ to have a couple of games this season where he struggles and he is the reason the Vikings lose football games. I could also flip that on its head. What if the Vikings, week 3, for example, versus Cincinnati Bengals, defense gets carved up by Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, which is very much on the table. That's one of the best offenses in the league. that could be a game where JJ goes out there and he has like 350 and 3, and it's kind of his like, hey, I'm here in the NFL type of moment. I'm the reason they won this game. So I think there are going to be, a ton of ups and downs to this season where some games JJ's going to light it up like a practice today or like yesterday where he did struggle a little bit, had some ups and downs. It's just going to be a process, but at least we're seeing the flashes. Like year one starting quarterbacks, yes, the Vikings are in a win now mode and we want to win a lot of games, but I just want to see flashes, and we've seen that, especially today at camp. And, even though this is not good from the business side of things and the fan viewing experience side of things, I'm cool with JJ not playing in the preseason anymore. Weeks 2, weeks 3, just put him on ice until week 1. I thought, if he had a bad day today, I would have maybe said, hey, throw him out there for the preseason game versus the Patriots. But these are some high-quality reps he's been getting. I just think it would be more of a show for the fans if you do put him out there. But he looks good right now, so just put him on ice until week 1. And even more from today, Will Reget saying J.J. McCarthy hits Jordan Addison with 10 seconds left to win the 1-minute drill for the Vikings offense. Addison let Marcus Jones know about it after. What a practice for number 9 and number 3. Now, actually, defensively, in this drill for the Vikings, they actually had 2 sacks, but they actually gave up a Hail Mary at the end, which was obviously not good, but also not the end of the world. But I do want to show some love to the defense here. Enough of the J.J. McCarthy glaze fest on today's show. But number 58, he was absolutely eating today, and he gave Will Campbell, 4th overall pick, his welcome to the NFL moment. This clip was disgusting. Greenard, just a freak athlete, had crazy bend coming around. He beat him for 2 sacks today, which was awesome, and he just looks the part, man. And the whole defensive line was eating. Like Hargrave had a massive practice too. Jonathan Allen got in there. Even Dallas Turner had a sack, and those actually came during the 1-minute drill where Jonathan Allen, Dallas Turner, they started off with sacks, and actually the Patriots had a false start after those 2 plays, but then Drake May hit Kayshon Boutte for a Hail Mary to win it. It kind of looked like the Vikings secondary gave up on this play. Like it looked like they were just walking through the motion, so not too concerned about it. But Josh Metellus was banged up on the play, but he was walking off under his own power, so that's good news there. And I got to give love to another quarterback. How about Max Brosmer? Continues to impress. Will saying he is simply too good to expose to waivers. He just threw back-to-back darts to Tim Jones and Jayshon Jones in tight windows. He needs to be on the 53-man roster, in my opinion. And, yeah, I think he does too. I think this is not a quarterback 3 battle anymore. I think this is a QB 2 battle. He's just been checking every box. Like, every report we get from camp, preseason, like, anything we see of Max Brosmer, he's been impressive. So that's great news there. But also more good news. Josh Metellus was banged up on that play. Athletic trainers were attending to him, who was defending a Patriots touchdown in a 2-minute drill. Also, wide receiver Jalen Naylor hasn't participated since leaving to get his left hand wrapped. So I don't think these are too serious. I feel like if these were serious injuries, we would have gotten more major reports there. But not good that Naylor's banged up. I'll tell you that. I mean, if he's not out there, I don't know who would be wide receiver 2 for the Vikings. It could be me. I might be out there in Chicago week 1 if Naylor's not able to go. But also more on JJ here. We saw another dot during the red zone period, the Tai Felton. And the reason why I want to highlight this, Tai Felton, late hands on this catch. Late hands is one of the biggest keys to being a receiver in the NFL because it's tough to get open. These are some great athletes that are playing cornerback. But what I love about this, Ty was working with another Maryland wide receiver after practice, Stephon Diggs, and they were working on late hands. So it's awesome they're already seeing that translate the next day at practice. But speaking of practice, there was also a massive fight today. I'm not the biggest fan of fights at training camp. I know this is going to sound like a boomer take, but I think it's just a lot of guys trying to stick their chest out a little too much, and it's just a bunch of alphas that, it's going to happen. It's a football practice. But the one thing I loved, the fight went down. J.J. McCarthy ran his ass in there to defend his teammates, which no big of a shocker there, but just love having the quarterback get after it. And, I hate doing this, but this is my mood after today's joint practice. I was on the live show yesterday saying, I think the Vikings probably going to go 10-7, 11-6. I'm back to 11-6, 12-5. It's training camp takes. You got to love them. You're changing your win totals after one joint practice. But it's just that time of the year, man. I can't wait till we get some real football Monday night. But all is well in Minnesota. I can't wait for Diana Rossini's podcast to drop later tonight and her talk about what she saw from McCarthy. I bet you she's going to completely flip, or she's going to be the biggest J.J. McCarthy fan in the world after today. And, J.J. chose a good practice to have his best practice of this season. But if you guys made it to the end, hit me with a real one down below in the comment section. We'll use this as a real one roll call on today's show. But we appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. You guys can also see a bunch of the training camp highlights. JJ McCarthy carving up the Patriots secondary on Twitter. Just type in that handle at Pat Sieps and give me a follow over there. We'll see you guys next time. As always, SKOL Vikes.